It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, and I'm going over an update of my spaghetti deck. So my fiance actually nicknamed this deck for me. I was showing it to her when I first built it, and she's like, "Boy, this don't even look like it works. You might as well just call this spaghetti. It don't really look good, but it tastes good. It's just a bunch of stuff mixed together. It's awesome. It's the ABC True King, True Draco with the Destrudo, like Gofu and all that good stuff. Some shenanigans. I like the deck. It's really, really good. I'm going to show you guys more duels with it so that you'll actually see the boards that it makes. The boards it makes are just scoop worthy. Like, so insane. I want to do more test hands too to show you guys like exactly how the deck opens up almost virtually the same way every single time. So I'm going to go ahead and not waste any more time, and I'm going to start off by showing you my main deck. So first off, the alphabets, we play 3 copies of B, 2 copies of C, and also 2 copies of A. So B Buster Drake is the obvious 3 of because he searches, and it's really, really good to open up with him for your combos because he puts a piece in the grave while at the same time gives you another piece that you can potentially dump in your grave to further your plays and get quicker to Buster. Where C is a really, really good combo piece because he can actually kind of start not necessarily a never-ending loop, but this loop where you use him and A. Long as you keep a piece in hand, just use him and A. Call your chain links right and go A chain link 2 and then C chain link 1. So A will add C back. C resolution will special C. And if you have A in rotation, you just keep doing it as much as you possibly can to link summon a lot. So we can actually quote unquote call him an extender, but he's not necessarily an extender. He's a mandatory. Basically, he's one of the focal cards. Like, you actually need him like to run the deck. And then 2 A's. Ace has his day. I like equipping A to Buster a lot so that he's unaffected by the effect of Sleeper and like Firewalls, you know, Trigate, Baguska, so that he just doesn't care about monster effects in general. You can make a Buster that's the equivalent of Masterpiece, but better because instead of popping cards, he banishes cards, and instead of just sitting there, he can tag out when he's in trouble. So I've made Busters that were actually more powerful than Masterpiece because he was unaffected by 3 cards like Spell Trap and Monster, whereas Masterpiece was only unaffected by 2. And the Buster was relatively easier to make as well. But nonetheless, the Buster Masterpiece board is like the bare minimum of this deck. The bread and butter comes from Calamities and Firewalls and stuff like that. So pretty much your 7 pieces. There's not much explanations needed. They're pretty good. I think a lot more ABC players should focus more on the actual union effects. People just think, oh, you just make Buster, you tag out, make a bunch of, you know, links like Pico Talker, and you win. But you can focus more on the fact that they're unions. Like when I ran Cyber Dragon Infinity and Galaxy Soldier, I would make Infinity and equip A to him so that they can't like chain any hand traps on him and they can't hit him with monster effects, and he just negate whatever he wants. Even in the Paleo matchup, it's relevant to equip your Buster to C so that Buster's unaffected. Equip C to your Buster, he's unaffected by traps. So like a lot of people forget that ABCs can actually make a monster that's invincible. That's just food for thought. I'm sure you guys already knew that, and if you did, hey, that's good for you. Moving forward to the monsters, more monsters. We're playing the True Kings. We play 3 copies of Mariamne. I maximize on this card because I love opening up with her. You have 13 different ways to get to Diagram. Well, we could say 10 ways to get to Diagram, and then the actual 3 diagrams, which makes 13 diagrams in the deck. This card is always live. When you open up with multiples of it, it's better because you can actually reveal to special it by popping itself in a piece. Do some combos, and you can pretty much make Calamities if your hand is right. And if not, you pretty much have extended your play to that point where you were able to get another piece for the ABC Buster into the grave without normal summoning it on the field because she can destroy it in your hand. So she actually makes a lot more plays live that naturally wouldn't be. So I love her. And then we also play her partner in crime, 2 copies of Barastos the Fathomer. Obviously, these are actually enemies if you follow the lore, but I like Barastos because you can either reveal her and him, destroy and make your Calamities that way, or you can just reveal double Barastos, which I like to do. Like when I diagram pop her, I'll search 2 copies of this bad boy, reveal him, clear another card, and then him himself and another monster on field, and then special summon Calamities. And he also still has a combo where you go Calamities, Call Water, reveal, pop 2 monsters on your field, banish 2 of your back rows just to special summon him. That's what I have to do just to get him on the field. That's broken to me. I really like that. And for more Kings, we are also playing 2 copies of Masterpiece, the True Dracoslaying King. This is a deck full of Kings. It's Team Kings of games, baby. We don't play no games around here. So Buster, Masterpiece, and Calamities is actually possible first turn. It just requires every card in your hand, and I've done it, but I just had no cards left in hand. So at that point, I was all in. Granted, I had 3 monster slots open for Buster to tag out, so I had like a lot more plays next turn. It's just like something when you want to overcommit. It's not called extending when you do that. There's a difference between overcommitting and actually extending. That is what's known as overcommitting, when you're basically all in, you know, all or nothing. When you're playing in time and you're like, I can't afford to lose, so if I don't get a chance to make a better board after this and I might get hindered by traps, let's just do it while we can. That sums up the actual monsters, and then the extenders are going to be Gofu, Destrudo, and the Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. I've opened up with this guy in a diagram, and it actually made the combos better because I'd special him after the diagram popped him. Normal summon a piece, A, B, or C, and you just got a really, really nasty combo at that point. It's dope. That's going to sum up the monsters. No hand traps. I know a lot of people were asking for hand traps. I'm not playing hand traps in this deck. The reason being, like, with my True Draco deck that I run with the Invoke, I play a lot of hand traps because my deck's basic playstyle is to not help myself at all, but to hinder my opponent. So I just play cards that help me to draw. That's the closest thing to help that I'll get in my deck. But what I wanted to do with this deck is not play so many cards that hinder my opponent and play cards that actually, you know, boost my plays, and I guess in a sense increase my ceiling to give my deck a higher ceiling. Because when you have multiple cards that do the same thing, and when you weigh out the probability of you drawing the same hand, it's a lot higher percentage because you have not only these 3 cards, but you have 3 additional cards and 3 additional cards that search out that. So you technically could play like 9 cards. Like I said, I played 13 diagrams. So instead of playing 13 diagrams, I could just say, let's just play 3 diagrams and 3 terraforming and play a bunch of hand traps. But I felt like the boards that I make with this deck are so much of a hindrance on my opponent that hand traps aren't necessarily needed, because when you're staring at Calamities and Masterpiece in your face, that alone is just too hard to deal with. You can't necessarily use your monster effect. Masterpiece doesn't care about the cards in your hand, and if you have a Buster, next turn they're dead. So it's just like, I felt like hand traps weren't needed. Granted, I can play them if I want to. I have every hand trap under the sun in my repertoire. And then for the spells, we have 3 copies of Double D's, 3 copies of Union Hanger. It's a better field spell than Diagram because of what it does. It actually is a really, really great combo piece, not only for making Buster, but for getting free fodder for a lot of your plays. Even for making your Masterpiece, it's just really, really dope. So, I think Union Hanger, if I'm terraforming and I don't have Union Hanger, I'm probably going to search Union Hanger before I search Diagram, because it just does so much more in this deck. Granted, Diagram is amazing, but Diagram is not actually mandatory. One could say that Diagram is an extender, but it's not actually an extender. It really isn't. It's just like something that's there that does what it does, but at the same time, it has so much synergy with the deck that it can do other things that it wasn't able to do before in other decks, which I like it. Then we have 2 copies of Dragon's Ravine and also 1 Pseudospace. So these are 3 extra copies of Diagram. You can play this over any field spell. Banish Diagram, it is Diagram. Pseudospace is any field spell. And Dragon's Ravine, when you open up with this, you pretty much can search out any field spell from your deck because Destrudo becomes Ancient Fairy. So when you open up with Dragon's Ravine, you open up a Diagram or Union Hanger. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Diagrams, or you play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Union Hangers. And also in tandem with that, let's go ahead and move these up a little bit. I like to be a little organized with my deck profiles. We also have 3 copies of Optimus Prime to search out any of these field spells. So you have your 9 Diagrams, right? Or you have your 9 Union Hangers. Or you could just look at this as 3, 6, 9, 12 amazingly busted cards that when you see them in your hand, you're very, very happy. And then you also have the set rotation. So when we take into account that we play ABCs and they're level 4s, whenever you open with Destrudo, you pretty much open up with the combo to search out a field spell. So I like to count Destrudo as an additional target. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm sorry, 11 ways to get into your Diagram. Or you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Union Hangers. Or we could just look at this as literally just 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 amazingly powerful cards that can win games by themselves. It's just so incredible. So the deck has such a high ceiling and it just opens up with amazing hands all the time. I'm also incorporating 2 copies of Desires in this list. Desires is a really, really risky card in ABCs because you play that chance that you might banish pieces. But the way my deck works, I'm able to search everything out so quickly. I was doing test hands. I'm like, dude, like, if I just like it was test hands like this where I would have like a True Draco Apocalypse. I've done my combo. I have Decode, Buster, and also True King of all Calamities. The one card left in my hand is Apocalypse. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. If this card was Pot of Desires, I could Desires and I don't care what I banished because I've searched everything I needed out of my deck and I can work off of one place at A, B, and C so long as you can protect them right using Buster to just continuously tag out and generate more advantage. So I was like, everything on my deck is not needed because I have my board. It's not going to be broken. I just need to draw like a skill drain or another terraforming or something like that to just keep my board protected. So I was like, Desires is a smart choice. Granted, you don't want to play this card first. You definitely want to play your Searchers before the Desires. And because you have so many more Searchers than you do Desires, you're naturally, like I said, able to dig through your deck to get the important, I guess we could say, crucial cards out of your deck before they have the potential chance of being banished. And at the same time, they might not get banished. But I was like, the +1 is nice to have. Then we have Soul Charge, the God card of the deck. I opened up with this. I made a double, I'm sorry, not double Calamities. I made a double Masterpiece and True King of all Calamities with just the Soul Charge helping me out to get there. I did not have enough pieces engraved to make ABC Buster Dragon, but trust and believe. If I only have one piece engraved. If I had two, I would have just done it like this. Double Masterpiece and Boguska in the extra monster zone. The Soul Charge is just amazing, but there's so many other boards. This is like Soul Charge in Blue Eyes. That's how it is in this deck. Like when you draw Soul Charge, you make just the most superb and stupendous board. Like just your opponent scoops when they see it. That is pretty much going to sum it up for the great spells. And then we have the obligatory Draco spells that you have to play. 1 Disciples and 1 Heritage. They have 3 effects and they really are. So every spell in this deck is good. The only thing with the Draco back row is that they're really, really specific and also situational. Meaning you have to send cards from the field to grave to draw, or you have to have a Masterpiece in hand to tribute. And also, you know, you have to be able to send it from field to grave to get its effect to pop back rows. And then with this one, you have to have 3 targets in grave, or you have to have Masterpiece in hand, or you have to have a way to get it to grave to get any of their effects off. So yes, they do have 3 good effects and they are great spells, but you don't want to open up with them when you don't have the nuts. So I just like playing them at 1. It's just personal preference. Then for spells, this might catch you off guard. I'm also taking out 3 Metaverse. Oh, I'm tripping. I said 11 diagrams. I was right when I said 13. It was actually supposed to be 14. I forgot about this. I play it. It's 14 diagrams and also 14 Union Hangers, or just 17 amazingly broken cards. So I showed you guys all my ways to get to Diagram and Union Hanger. I absolutely overlooked the fact that I'm playing Metaverse in this deck now. Metaverse is so great because if your opponent either outs your Union Hanger, or like in my combos, I like to slap Diagram on top of Union Hanger, even though it takes away from the Buster tag out, because I want to have Masterpiece protected from battle twice and get the attack boost from Diagram to make them stronger, you know. Buster can just tag out. And yeah, I won't get to equip a piece, but I still have 3 free level 4 monsters that can do what they do. So I was like, activating Metaverse, you know, after you tag out or before you tag out on Buster, and activating the Union Hanger over the Diagram and then tagging out with Buster is nice. And also when you don't open up with Union Hanger, but you have like a Diagram, you can just set this and then activate Union Hanger on your opponent's turn, get a search, and the next turn you just go off with your combos at that point. Like, once the Union Hanger is activated off the Metaverse, the first thing you want to do is normal summon a piece, equip directly from your deck, and then activate the second Union Hanger over it, search a piece. And when you use C and special summon, you can use the second Union Hanger to equip directly from your deck, because that effect is not hard once per turn. Metaverse is just amazing. I would not cut this card. It's just so good. True Draco Apocalypse, 1 return, and also skill drain to sum up the main deck. I believe it's 41 cards or 40. But yeah, Metaverse is just amazing. Like, the applications this has in the deck is just incredible. I love this card. Like, I was like, dude, you know what? My problem is if I don't see a field spell, I just make mediocre boards. So I was like, I need every possible way to get a field spell. So you got this. You've got all these cards that are literally just incredible, incredible cards. I mean, we could put Desires there, you know, just because, but we pretty much have all these ways to get to the field spells. Which, this is just insane. This is like, if we just count this right here, you guys, this just shows you exactly what I'm trying to get at with this deck. If you guys had questions like, what's your main goal? I'm just trying to play field spells and win pretty much. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different ways to get to your combo. It's just insane. That's almost half your deck. So remember what I was saying, when you always open with the nuts, you always open with the nuts. For the extra deck, we're playing the obligatory 3 Busters. Then we have the Ancient Fairy. I was thinking about like Black Rose just for another target, just in case you draw the Destrudo after you resolve them once. But then I was like, it never really comes up because games last like 2 turns with this deck. Like, I have not played a grind game yet with this deck. For the XYZs, ooh, excuse me, we have True King of All Chlamydia and Syphilis. These 2 cards are kind of similar. This is the little brother, definitely. The irresponsible little brother, because he's drinking on his day off. Tornado Dragon. Diamond Direwolf. I like him because he clears the extra monster zone so I can play another monster there. And I chose not to play Tsukuyomi because this is not standard ABCs. You don't just have like a bunch of traps that you want to set and then play Tsukuyomi and pitch a piece and then, you know, do that. You can't. And then we're in Link format. Master Rule 4 exists, so Tsukuyomi would just be sitting there. It's just not a good card in ABCs anymore in general. Correct me if I'm wrong. If Tsukuyomi's working for you, it works for you, but it doesn't work for me. Link monsters, 2 firewalls, 1 Borload. This could be any card. I haven't been able to make it yet, but I feel like I'm going to be in a situation where I need this card, and if I don't play it, I'll be mad at myself. So I'm playing Borload. Trigate, because he's just another Link 3, but he also points up and has arrows that point left and right. Whereas Decode, yeah, you can co-link your firewall by 1, but you can't summon anything else from the extra monster zone. Unless you want to, like, you know, link this off for the second firewall. But, like, you know, when you get the nuts, you can do this. And then you can put Baguska or ABC Buster Dragon there. Or you can even do this. Like, I did this turn 2. I did this, and I made Baguska, and Masterpiece was already made on my opponent's main phase. That was an absolute scoop-worthy board. I could use him, target, banish, Masterpiece to pop, firewalls bounce. Baguska's like, we don't care. These don't care. They have no defense, and Masterpiece is unaffected by Baguska. Then for the Link 2s, Proxy and Akashic. Akashic is just amazing. Like, when you can bounce at the Akashic, firewall bounce, this banish, Buster banish, Masterpiece pop, Calamities, reveal Barastos, clear your board. It's just insane. I'm really, really excited about this deck. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Please let me know in the comment section below your honest opinion and feedback on what the deck, you know, what you think of it. If you feel like it needs hand traps, I know a lot of people might say that. I already explained why I don't play them. But on that note, I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Happy holidays. You might not hear from me on Christmas because I have a family to, you know, be with. And I'm sure you guys will all be with your families as well. So you will be hearing from me soon, though, most definitely. And I do appreciate everything that you guys do for me. I do appreciate, you know, the beautiful compliments that you give me as well. And I'm trying to get more duels up on the channel. I really am. Like, I do a lot of deck profiles. I'm trying to get more duels. I know you guys have been asking me. And I've been trying my hardest, man. Like, every chance I get, I record a duel, you know, and I try, man. But I feel like I'm not doing enough. And once I get more free time, I will definitely deliver. I promise you guys. But on that note, I think I'm just going to go ahead and head out. I'm going to my homeboy's barbecue, and I don't want to be late. Peace.